Among the many popular genres in anime, one that really stands out is the mystery thriller genre. It may be because the genre tends to have stories that are a lot more mature and profound than what the typical person expects from an anime. Also be because, while some of these shows may have fantastical elements, they often have more serious storytelling or underlying themes that reflect reality or the less glamorous and idealistic aspects of life. Due to these, the genre has become a hit with anime fans of all sorts. The Anime Regent here, and today we will be counting down 10 of my favorites in this genre. I've watched a couple of mystery thrillers, and while this isn't going to be an exhaustive list by any means, I do hope that you can pick up some shows to watch from the list. Without further ado, let's get started.
Someone jumped! A boy just jumped off the building!
Number 10. Having a detective show as a backdrop and attempting to make a blockbuster thrill out of it can be a challenge. Not a lot of shows pull it off, but one attempt at it came in the middle of the previous decade with Ranpo Kitan, Game of Laplace. Yoshio Kobayashi wakes up in his classroom to a startling revelation: his dead teacher and a blood-stained sore on his hand. The easiest conclusion would be to frame him, and so he did.
Is that teacher? In that moment, I knew that my boredom had come to an end.
However, he's got help on his side in the form of his friend Soji Hashiba and detective prodigy Kokoro Akechi. After being cleared of his crime, Kobayashi takes an interest in the teen detective and joins him in solving cases, often involving murders and other gruesome crimes. Ranpo Kitan has received quite the mixed and polarized reception, but I personally enjoyed it for what it is. And blockbuster thriller genres, while leaning more on the latter. It does have some interesting episodes and themes, so you can check it out if the synopsis interests you.
You inflicted that injury on your own leg!
Now, here's a show that's quite dear to my heart. Debuting in 2004, Paranoia Agent became quite the cult classic, showcasing Satoshi Kon's rather controversial and surreal style in the form of a mystery murder. Paranoia Agent tells the story of a town terrorized by Shonen Bat, a mysterious assailant who seems impossible to catch.
Hello again.
A pair of detectives seem up to the impossible task of finally ending the terror of Shonen Bat. However, with paranoia beginning to set in all over the town, catching the Phantom would be a lot harder than it already is. If you've never seen a Satoshi Kon anime, I feel that Paranoia Agent would make an excellent starting point. It brings out the full appeal of his style, and the series itself is really good in how it weaves its mysteries and in how it creates some major twists and turns. The feel of a tense mystery is there all throughout, and being able to evoke emotion of terror and suspense is a true strength of the series. Back in the 90s, the internet was still quite an unknown frontier. Things were very different, and how people viewed the fountain of information that we have easy access to nowadays can be very interesting, to say the least. It also forms the backdrop of the next show on the list, Serial Experiments Lane. The story begins with Lane receiving an email from a classmate who has committed suicide. Opening the email, she found herself being led into the Wired, a virtual network which we now know more as the internet.
ねえ、あなたたち、どうして私にそんなに親切にしてくれるの?
Then, the weirdness begins as Men in Black begin questioning her, and it seems that the barrier between reality and cyberspace has been broken, leaving everyone with more questions than answers about identity, perception, and reality. It is a show that is very profound, and that has made it one of the well-known classics of the seinen genre. Serial Experiments Lane would have you questioning many philosophical matters, much like a great mystery thriller would. It is a completely unique work during its time, and I think that it still holds true to this day. While it's not an easy watch, I would recommend this show as it helps push the boundaries of human imagination in a way few anime can. Missile strikes, an amnesiac man, and a death game where the fate of the world hangs in the balance. Such are just some of the things to expect from this next entry, Eden of the East. In the middle of it all is a college student named Saki Morimi. Her trip to the US saves her from a catastrophic missile strike in Japan, but in return, she runs into the eccentric Akira Takizawa, a cheerful who believes himself to be a terrorist. He possesses a strange cell phone that contains over 8 billion yen in digital cash. It was this encounter that opened the floodgates to Saki's involvement in the most high-stakes death game she has ever found herself involved in. A pretty cool show that leans more on the action side of things, Eden of the East has what it takes to keep you engaged and wanting more. Number 6. Ever wonder what life after death looks like? Well, the next show on the list, Death Parade, gives us a rather unique glimpse at it. Instead of heavenly clouds or eternal flames, what awaits a departed human is a bar? Yes, it is a bar where the attendant challenges a pair of souls into a game, pitting them against each other in battles of air hockey, bowling, or the like. The possibilities are endless. However, it is here where the true nature of Quindesim is revealed. As the game revealed more about a person's true nature, and it is here where his or her final fate gets decided. The road to salvation or oblivion lies beyond the game in this bar of memories. With its unique and meaningful takes, Death Parade has made quite some waves back in 2015. It is a show that seems quite whimsical, yet is both philosophical and meaningful. I would say that the show has aged pretty well, and in 2021 it's not too late to start watching what some consider to be a serious candidate to 2015's Anime of the Year.
You know, I wonder what it's really keeping us protected from.
Number 5. The Promised Neverland finds itself 5th on our list, with such a banger of a first season. I reckon that a lot of you already know the tale that chronicles children's struggles to escape from the Gracefield house. The warm orphanage, which ends up actually being a house of horrors, has become an iconic location for modern anime fans. I'm not here to talk to you further about the plot, but just point you in the one point where the show excels so much: atmosphere. The Promised Neverland features some of the most amazing directing and camera cuts I've ever seen in anime, and that is able to elevate it so much despite the basic premise. I would not say that the other parts of the show are shabby, because they're nowhere near bad, but it takes a special team to elevate what is basically anime chicken run into the work of art that this season is. While a lot of people would rather pretend that the show's second season never existed, the first season is probably going to end up in a lot of people's must-watch lists. The show does so well in applying the atmosphere to support its own brand of horror and suspense, and it is probably not too far-fetched to call this season a modern masterpiece in itself.
Future diary. Everything I've seen, no, everything I'm going to see is already here, recorded for posterity.
Number 4. I heard you like death game anime, so here's another one for you. Lonely high school student Yukiteru Amano spends most of his time conversing with his 2 imaginary friends. His life changes when one of them turns out to be real and grants him a diary that can see the future, while subsequently forcing him into combat with 11 other wielders of that powerful item.
Destroy his phone, destroy him.
It is a battle royale, a free-for-all bloodbath where the last man standing gets to be the god of time and space. Teaming up with a rather obsessive stalker, Yuno Gasai, Yukiteru seeks to defeat the other wielders of the diaries and take his crown. Morbid yet brimming with energy and adrenaline, Mirai Nikki has become one of the most recognizable anime for those who were very into the medium in the 2000s. The show boasts a certain unique charisma with its story and action sequences. And if you haven't given it a shot yet, why don't you do it and see what all the buzz is about?
So does this mean I've been summoned across the universe to another world?
Number 3. When Subaru Natsuki went on a trip to the convenience store, little did he know that he would find himself teleported into another world. One filled with denizens of the fantasy world that he was so savvy about. He also discovers that he came with his own power, the ability to go back in time whenever he dies. A power that's so mighty, yet so cursed.
What's going on? It was nighttime just a few minutes ago, right?
The wound on my stomach is gone.
Having such an ability comes with its share of consequences, and it's up to Subaru to decide how he will struggle against fate. Will Subaru ever find his happy ending with the half-elf girl of his dreams, or will he fall into despair as he dies trying to? Isekai has been a dime a dozen in the anime world these days, but what makes ReZero stand out? Is it the dark atmosphere? Is it the lack of an overpowered hero? Is it the waifus that come in all shapes and colors? Maybe all of the above could qualify. I could go to lengths as to why ReZero has become such a standout in Isekai, but I would rather have you watch it yourself. The second season has also recently concluded, so you might want to take a look at that once you're done with the first season, if you liked it enough. Number 2. Speaking of time loops and such, how ironic is it that Steins Gate would appear as my number 2 pick for mystery thriller anime? I probably don't need to talk too much about the story of self-proclaimed mad scientist Okabe and his foray into a whole world of conspiracy, death, and time loops. What I would do is vouch for Steins Gate and tell you just how powerful of an anime it is, and how good it is at conveying a rather complicated and intricate story, one that is quite unique in its own, with developments that set it apart from the other shows that involve time travel.
Where is it? What's today?
Huh? It's the 28th. Why? Spill it.
My text traveled backward in time.
Steins Gate has been lauded by many as anime of the decade. Decade, not just year. And it's not too difficult to see why. A very gripping story, some amazingly written characters, and a narrative that takes you on a thrill ride and never lets go. Steins Gate has all the hallmarks of a great modern-day anime sensation. It sent waves across the community when it was airing. It only falls down to second place because, as good of a legacy as it has, it still pales in comparison to the number 1 spot on this list.
Do it. Using the Death Note, I'll change the world.
Number 1. Arguably the most influential anime ever to come out of the mystery thriller genre is Death Note. One of the most iconic series to take the world by storm in the 2000s, Death Note's success lies in how deep it seems for a Shonen Jump series. Finding itself in the thick of things with the Shonen Big 3 and other similar title, Death Note was a complete breath of fresh air, as instead of supernatural battles, the series takes this supernatural theme and applies it to a more realistic backdrop. Being able to kill at will in the name of justice can be a tempting proposition for the or idealistic minds.
I'm a hard-working honor student who's considered to be one of Japan's best and brightest. And I will become the god of this new world.
But that comes with some consequences. That is just one of the many themes rooted on the reality of society that we get to see in the cat and mouse battle between teen megalomaniac Light and super detective L. Death Note takes the spot as one of my favorites and probably one of the big foundations of anime in the 2000s. It has also got some themes that really hit close to home, making the show a very exciting and intriguing watch. That more or less finishes up my list of the top 10 mystery thrillers. I hope that the shows listed can help you appreciate the genre more. If you're still not into the genre, I really wish that seeing the amazing shows on this list can change your mind. Mystery thrillers can provide an alternative angle of the anime industry as a whole and showcase some of the less mainstream methods of storytelling. I hope to be able to talk about these shows on the comments section with you guys. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll keep providing more anime content. And if you like the video, then you're going to want to be the first in line next time I upload something. Feel free to share the video with your friends who also enjoy anime and let us help grow the channel together. I appreciate your help and I wish you a great day.